Click Got It. If you're not already familiar, AARP is the largest nonprofit, nonpartisan organization in the U.S. dedicated to empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP works to strengthen communities to be age friendly and advocates for older adults and their families with a focus on health security, financial resilience, and social connection. Today, we're going to focus on outdoor parks and spaces and bicycling, which is an important component of livable communities. In previous episodes, we've focused on the Bay Area Ridge Trail, Happy Hollow Park and Zoo, Salesforce Park and Transit Center in San Francisco, and many others that you can check out on our AARP California YouTube channel. Oop, we have somebody who is not on mute. Please put yourself on mute. Today, we're going to take another look at another way to get around the Bay Area, and that's by getting on your bike. I'm delighted now to introduce Diane Cho, who is monitoring the chat today. Diane is one of our volunteers here in the San Jose office and joining us from Northern California. Diane, where are folks calling in from?
Well, I'm checking chat and I only have myself and you. So
Okay.
maybe people aren't using devices where they can input onto chat, but we did ask a couple questions. Where are you zooming in from? And please let us know, are you an avid bicycle rider? Casual rider? Which mode do you like more? So we'd be interested to know, the demographics of our audience, if you can put it in chat.
Great, thank you. Well, we'll look forward to your answers. And do let us know if your bike is lonely, waiting to be taken out as well. So, well, thanks everybody. We are delighted to have Diana Crumedy, who is the Associate Director of Advocacy and Community Development for the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. Diana has a background in urban and regional planning and community development and design. She received her undergraduate degree in sociology, followed by a master's in urban and regional planning. So Diana has years of experience in working with municipalities at the local and regional levels and has a strong depth of knowledge in community design and development, policy planning and analysis and implementation, land use, regional planning, zoning, and environmental review. Diana is very passionate about all things community focused. Diana, I have to ask you, with such a rich background, how did you come to work with the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition?
Combination of my educational background and my passion for the community. I've had the opportunity, as you mentioned, to work on the regional level, at city level. I moved out to the Central Valley. I'm a Silicon Valley girl, and I really, really missed home. And I was looking for a way to come back to San Jose. I really wanted to be able to make an impact here within my community. And the opportunity came across. There was a community organizing position with the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. And I said, community organizing, that's what I love to do. It's not necessarily what I just got a degree in, but I love it. And I looked into it and I saw so many opportunities to impact transportation and city planning and just making the road safer. And I said, this is a marriage made in heaven. I finally found my dream career.
That's awesome. Well, I know you have a presentation for us about the coalition. Let me call up the PowerPoints real quickly here, right? Let me know I got that right. All right. Can you see?
Awesome.
Yeah.
I see it. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Let's Take It Outside. Once again, my name is Diana Crumedy, and I am so glad to see you. As Sophie mentioned, I am the Associate Director of Advocacy and Community Development. I've been with the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition for about 3 years, and my prior work is in urban planning. And it's you'll see the opportunities to do urban planning in a really fun, joyful, community-focused way throughout the presentation. Next slide. All right, so I'm just gonna list, this is our agenda here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about SCBC, our history, mission, and our work, and there'll be an opportunity for questions. And then the highlight, tips on best ways to enjoy bicycling throughout the Silicon Valley. I'm going to start with focusing on safety and comfort first, and then sharing with you some fun places and some fun people to hang out with while you're bicycling. And then we'll do a wrap up with some more additional invitations. All right, next slide. If you haven't already put this into the slide, we'd love just for you to connect and engage with each other. We'd like to put your name in, one thing that you are looking forward to learning today. And my question, I get to put in a question, where's your bike? Is your bike in the garage? Is your bike in the shop? Is your bike at a store waiting to be purchased somewhere? All those are excellent answers. My bike, if your bike is in your garage, and it's there because it has flat or needs some type in the garage, looking a little dusty. Thank you. If it is in the garage and it's dusty, I'd love to find out why it's in the garage. How can we get you excited about bicycling again? If it's in the garage because it has a flat tire or the chain is not moving or you need your seat adjusted, we have a free upcoming training. So training to teach you how to be able to fix your bike yourself, and also free repairs coming up this weekend in the city of Sunnyvale, offered by one of our SCBC local teams. I'll be putting that in the presentation later on, but just definitely want to get everything ready so we can get you back on the road. Next slide. All right, there's one back. It's the one with the goofy picture, I believe. Yes. Yes, awesome. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about SBBC, or the Silicon Valley Bicycle Coalition. We are a nonprofit, and our organization has a mission to build healthier and more just communities by making bicycling safe and accessible for everyone. We work both in San Mateo County and Santa Clara County, from Brisbane all the way to Gilroy. We see the bicycle as a powerful tool to help improve not only your health, the environment, but the economy. And in order to really help folks get out there, we have to fight not just for the people who are already choosing to ride, but the concerned demographic who are interested in riding, but they're like, I don't feel safe on roads. So they would love to ride if we can do some more to make them comfortable to actually get on the road. And that's what we do through our advocacy. We try to empower folks to share their concerns with us and utilize that. If you tell us everything you don't like about riding your bike so that we can address those things. All right, next slide. All right, you got to advance it twice. Here's what we do. So we have two methods. We interact with people and we try to get to change their behavior, get you excited about that. And we do that with a lot of our programs. We have, this picture to your left, with the woman with the umbrella, that is at Viva Calle. Viva Calle is a San Jose event. It is an open street event, the largest free open street event around. And an open street event just means that all the streets for about 10-mile radius are closed down. They're completely closed down to all car traffic. And what's great about that is you can get out on your bike or walk. I see folks on their scooters, on their roller skates, people with their kids who they've been wanting to teach their kids how to ride a bike, but they never had a safe environment to do that. So you get yourself out there with your kids. In addition to that, I've been there a few times and it constantly blows my mind how safe it feels. Because I'll be riding down the road and there'll be a red light and I think, oh, I have to stop. But I don't have to stop because there's no cars and I don't have to look for any cars. And just that feeling of being able to ride your bike without any concerns is what we're pushing for. The second bullet is places. In order to get folks comfortable doing it, we also have to make sure that there is a safe infrastructure and environment to do so. So we also do our advocacy around bicycle lanes and protected bicycle lanes. And we also dabble a little bit into pedestrian safety as well, because the same streets, although we're a bicycle organization, the same street that our pedestrians are on, our bicyclists are on. And even if you are a car driver, at some point you have to get out of your car and you become a pedestrian like the rest of us. All right, next screen. All righty. So this is a little bit about our mission. As I mentioned, we have our programs department and our bike power, our people power. That's also our advocacy. And everything we do is people-centered around the streets and community. We want to make sure that bicycling is easy, and it's just the most obvious choice, where you would look at maybe the bus or your car and think like, I'll have just so much more fun if I bicycle there. I can take my time. One of the things that you'll experience if you ever go to Viva Calle is the opportunity to just converse with people, because you're not in that cage, your windows aren't rolled up, your music isn't blaring, you're within arm's length of someone, and they'll strike up a conversation with you. It's really great. So those are our two branches, advocacy and programs, but all focused on being people-centered and ensuring that we have a comfortable bicycle network, and that new development is going out there. As I mentioned, our programs introduces people of all ages, abilities, and ethnicities to the joys of bicycling. We have bicycle introductory courses, our one-on-one bike courses for people that haven't rode a bike in a very long time or just not comfortable. It's a great place to start. Next slide. All right. So this is one of our programs events. This is our King Tide Ride, where we took folks out to see the tide rising. In addition to that, we have social rides, we have youth education like Safe Route to School. We provide valet bike parking for Levi Stadium for some of their major football games and concerts. And we organize and promote fun events like Bike to Work, or now Bike to Wherever Day. All right, next slide. So these are some of the services that we provide. We currently have a bike donor, our loaner program, and at the Rollins Affordable Housing Complex. It's next to a transit, but what we noticed is they need more opportunities to actually be able to engage with their new environment. It's a new development there, and we want them to be able to meet their city and meet their neighbors, and feel comfortable to really get that like firsthand experience. In addition to that, we have volunteer opportunities through Vegilution, which is a nonprofit community farm in the city of San Jose. They provide fresh vegetables to the community members. The only concern that we found was it's a food desert. So the community was having problems accessing fresh groceries. Here was this wonderful farm that was providing fresh groceries, but they couldn't get to them. So what we did was we started delivering fresh groceries to the residents. We provide about 100 boxes, let's say a month. And the volunteers really love it because people are so impressed when they see you on your bike with the trailer with their groceries. They're like, oh, I can do this, huh? I can go grocery shopping. It's like, yes, these are the groceries for 10 people right here. You can do this. And I'll mention some of these bike options as well, because it really gives the opportunity to see bicycling in a whole new way. Next slide. All right. So this is one of our educational and social programmings. One of our rides that we have is called the mural ride. As you'll see to the side, we went through San Jose and visited about 20 different locations, which is beautiful artwork. The city of San Jose has a ton of art displays there. On your left, you'll see a basic bike training, and there are little tennis balls on the ground. We'll teach you maneuvers on how to avoid, say, a car if it were to come out, how to be able to stop safely, how to be able to maneuver and dodge around it. It's a very extensive course. Our Our team director, Tim, he teaches kids every weekend how to ride their bikes and adults and for free. And he loves it. Even when he's not getting paid, he's teaching kids and people how to ride bikes. All right, next slide. All righty. All right, so pedal power, that's part of our advocacy department. That's our second strategy. We're trying to build the power of the bike movement with active and diverse residents, creating change in their local communities. So that means we have to go into diverse, underserved communities. The streets are for everyone. And in order to make sure that everyone's being advocated for, we have to make sure that we are also going to all parts of the city. We try to identify, recruit, and train more folks to be involved in bike advocacy. And we have an advocacy training that I'll be inviting you all to as well. And what's really strange is it's a bike advocacy training, but it is applicable to everything because we're going to tell you how to find the power structure, who are your main contacts within the city, within the county, who are some of the people that influence them, how to put together an action plan and a campaign that you can utilize for anything. So it's just advocacy in general. We focus on bicycling, but we love to give people this training so that they can apply it to whatever they feel will better the community. That's it. And next slide. So we have a bottoms-up approach. We have staff and we have a policy advisory committee, but if you hit the next slide, our focus is the local teams. And the local teams are just regular concerned citizens throughout Santa Clara County and San Mateo County. We used to come up with our own campaigns, and we found out that we have a ton of special interest, the word I'm looking for, subject matter experts already within our community, right? And we don't have to think of campaigns. They know what's directly affecting their community. They know what our number one is might be their number 10. So instead of going that direction, we decided to let our local teams drive all of our campaigns and come up with things. One of our current campaigns coming out of the city of San Jose is a effort to unblock the bike lanes. If you are an avid bicyclist, you'll see that occasionally there'll be a garbage can or leaves or a delivery truck or even a sign saying detour, construction underway. So we're pushing to make sure that those lanes, the bike lanes, are clear. The bike lane is the only dedicated space for folks to safely ride their bike. And when you push them out into the street, bad things happen. And people say, oh, they were in the street. Like, but the bike lane was clogged. So we're trying to make sure that we can get folks back to the bike lane. Next slide. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. See that. All right. So people-centered community is all about making bicycling the easiest and most obvious transportation choice by creating connected and comfortable bike networks, ensuring that development is planned around people and not around cars. You may notice that our streets are very car-centered, and that's what makes them unsafe. Some of our key activities is influencing the city's bicycle plans and policies and building political support to fund and implement these projects. We focus on street design that slows cars and allocates more space for bicycles and hot spots such as highway interchanges, which is anytime you cross a highway to get to the side street can be very scary. Next screen. Awesome. Cute little kid. These are some of our projects that we've been working on. We have our Safe Streets in Vision Zero. We're working on a network of east to west and north-south bicycle routes. Currently, there's a lot of north-south, but not a lot of east-west. It's important to be able to have those connections. In addition to that, we are focusing on livable communities and making sure that there's support for effective public transportation. We work hand in hand with Valley Transportation Agency. They are an awesome bicycle advocacy group. And one of the things that they realize is a lot of their customers who ride the bus have to get there either by walking or bicycling. If you're too tired to continue bicycling, you might catch the bus. And if you're you catch the bus, but it doesn't take you all the way to your destination, you might want to finish that trip on your bike. So we make sure that we work with them to ensure that there's space on the bus for your bicycle. Some of the bike racks that you see, that was some advocacy work. And then also making sure that the bus and the bike lane don't have any conflict. It's a lot of work advocating. Next slide. All right, I get it. Any questions regarding the presentation, regarding the advocacy, regarding SVBC? Feel free to plug them right into the chat. If you see anything, I'm sure Diane will let me know. Thank you, Diane. All right, I'll keep my ear open, but we're gonna go on to the next slide.
Well, I'm wondering, Diana, if there are folks on here that don't have a device that they can easily put the chat, would you be okay with
Opening in conversation? Yeah, by all means.
Now, but thank you, Terry, because I'm on the Viva Calle San Jose, but they don't say when and where the next event is on the website. Could you help Terry out there? And there goes Kenneth asking too. We're getting some questions.
That is true. Okay, so Viva Calle has 3 events throughout the year, actually 4 events throughout the year. Interesting story, just a few months ago, there was a push to actually defund Viva Calle, and they were going to go from 4 events, I believe, down to 2. But through advocacy, which I hope you guys are interested in, we were able to ensure that the budget was not affected, and they will continue to have their 4 events. It's a lot of work to put on Viva Calle, and the list is not out yet. I think they're probably just catching their breath from not losing funding. But I would anticipate that out within like the next 2 months, and they will put the list out for the whole entire year when they do. So just keep your eye out on that, their website. All right. And I believe I have a video, so I'm gonna share that with you. There it goes. I apologize. I watch City Council online. Sorry.
Get ready to ride. This video covers the ABC Quick Check and offers a.
I'm not hearing volume on my end.
Oh, I heard it.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, we heard it.
Thank you.
Few tips when riding an electric assist bike. Start every ride with an ABC Quick Check to make sure your bike is in a safe working condition. Let's break it down. A is for air. Push on your tires. Each one should be firm when you press on them. Tires should be hard to the touch. If they give way to your pressure, they need to be inflated. After you have inflated your tires, check for cracks, bald spots, or loose threads. Any of these are indications of extreme wear, and you should replace your tires very soon. B is for brakes. There are 2 types of brakes typically found on a bike: rim brakes and disc brakes. Checking to make sure you have braking power is similar on either type. Squeeze the brake levers firmly. There should be a thumb's width gap between the lever and the handlebars. If this gap is too small, the brakes need to be tightened or your pads replaced. When the lever is released, it should snap back into position. On rim brakes, check to see that the brake pad is not worn thinner than 1/8 of an inch. Disc brake pads are harder to see. Overly worn disc brake pads will make a grinding noise when stopping as an indication they need to be replaced. C is for chain, cranks, and cassette. Check your chain by turning the pedals backwards. The chain should move freely. A lot of rust or a loose drooping chain are signs it needs to be replaced. Check the crank by wiggling both the left and right crank arms. There should be no lateral movement. If there is, tighten the bolt or take it to a mechanic. The cassette holds the gears on the rear wheel. Make sure it is clean and moves freely. Quick reminds you to check your bike's quick release levers, which may be used to secure your seat post and your wheels. They should be snug and closed. Many disc brakes will not have quick release levers. Make sure your through axle is tightened. The final part of the ABC Quick Check is the check ride. Before you set out, take a brief, slow ride to check that your bike is working properly and nothing is loose or getting in the way of your wheel and pedal movement. Now you've performed the ABC Quick Check and your bike is ready to ride. Choosing to go by bike is a smart decision, and if you choose to ride an electric assist bike, there are a few additional things to consider. Of the many bikes out there, road, mountain, hybrid, cargo, and more, all of these types are now available with the option of electric assist or as an e-bike. Riding an e-bike allows a rider to haul more weight or cargo, ride for longer distances, ride faster, and go more places. When riding an e-bike, it's important to remember a few additional tips. Be mindful of your battery life, and don't forget to charge your battery at the end of a ride. Take time to get a feel for the instant acceleration of the motor. Prepare for a slightly longer braking distance. Always follow the same rules of the
there. My apologies. I meant to let you all know. One of the first things in order to really be able to enjoy your bicycling experience is to be able to make sure that the bike is going to run safely and get you to from your destination. Before you take any trip, you want to make sure you check the air. It's the ABC Quick Check. A is for air. Just give it a squeeze, and if it's spongy and kind of bent together, you need air. You want it to be tight, like I would say, like when you kind of put pressure on a watermelon, like it shouldn't really flex. In addition to that, the B is for brakes. A good way to check your brake is to squeeze it, like you said, and then try to put your finger right behind the squeeze. If your finger can fit in there, you have enough flex. But if it goes all the way down, then your brake is kind of, it's time to replace it. And then another thing is while you're flexing the brake, if you lift up the back tire and try to push forward, you shouldn't get any movement. That's how you know your brake is intact. And the chain, a cool way to check if your chain is correctly lubricated was just to put your hand right on there. If it comes up dirty, you have enough oil on your chain. But the most important one is probably the quick release. That has to be secure. If not, your tire can really just fly off while you're riding your bike. I've had it happen. It's not fun. It's not fun to chase your tire across the street. It's like a cartoon. So yeah, those are the ABC Quick Check. That's something that most bicyclists will do before they actually get on the road. And you definitely want to check your brakes. I too have had that experience. And we'll go on to the next slide from there. All right. So I wanted to, if that was like a little too much for you and you're like, I don't know if I got it. I wanted to invite you to our fair. It's going to be taking place in Sunnyvale this weekend on the 28th from 12 a.m. to 3 o'clock. Absolutely free. You can just walk in. There's no sign up required. And if you're interested, however, in becoming a volunteer mechanic, no experience required. All you have to do is sign up. I sent everything to Sophie. She'll be sharing it with you later. They will train you on how to become a bike repair mechanic. And there's no obligation. You don't have to come back. But the more you come back, the more you learn, right? So that's just one thing I want to share with you. Next slide. Finding the right bike for you. So we discussed some of the bikes there, but I thought it was really important. It's like, I feel like bicycling or picking the right bike is kind of like speed dating, and you have to really know what is your match. There's mountain bikes, there's road bikes. Not all bikes are the same. Cruisers, for example, are for cruising, for just casual riding. If you're interested in going up any mountains, I would not recommend a cruiser because it does not have the gears to help you get up there. They're road bike and hybrids. The tires that will provide on the bike make all the difference. The smoother tires are more for the roads, rough tires for the rougher areas. And if you're using a mountain bike on a road, you will feel it grab a little bit more. It's just going to put a little more effort into it, and you might not enjoy it as much. So finding the right bike is really important. All right, next slide. Oh, awesome. Do you have that one? Let me see if I can share my screen again. Awesome. So before I put the screen on this clip here is going to show you how to get comfortable bicycling and some of the different bicycle options that there are out there. And you can see if you can find your love interest, the bike that you've always dreamed of. And let's see. Are we go?
Choosing a bike.
Awesome.
There are bicycles and wheeled vehicles for almost everyone. Choosing the correct one can be a daunting task and deserves careful thought and consideration. Here we'll review cycles that may help to make your ride safer and more enjoyable. There are at least 3 types of 2-wheel bicycle frames. A standard, a step-through frame, which curves up with no top tube, and a crank-forward frame, where the pedals and crank arms are moved forward so the rider can sit and put her feet on the ground. Both the step-through and crank-forward frames make it easier to mount and dismount and offer slightly more stability. Learn the technique of leaning your bike over to mount it if swinging your leg over the saddle isn't your thing anymore. This mounting technique is covered in the video Issues and Concerns for Older Adults. An adult balance bike can be a great place to start if you are just learning how to ride, or if it's been a long time since you have been on a bike. A balance bike does not have pedals, so the rider must propel themselves forward by pushing themselves with their feet. Use this bike on flat surfaces, and then move up to a bike with pedals once you have mastered your balance. Trikes come in many forms. Some have 1 wheel in front, a delta, while others have 2 wheels in front, a tadpole. They can have electric motors, and some have hand cranks. If you are a long-time 2-wheeler, the move to 3 wheels can be interesting, especially on an upright trike. Because you have to steer a trike instead of leaning into a turn, it may take a day or 2 to get used to the steering. Upright trikes may tip if turned sharply at higher speeds, so turning techniques are different. At slow speeds, a trike is much more maneuverable than a 2-wheeler. Recumbent vehicles means that the rider sits in a more relaxed position and may lean quite far back. There are 2-wheel and 3-wheel versions, and even some that can be operated by hand. All types of bikes can be motorized with a simple electric battery-powered motor. The motor can go in the wheel or in the frame where it drives the chain rings. E-assist isn't about speed. Where e-assist bicycles really shine is in acceleration. Getting a jump on traffic at a light or a stop sign can help keep a rider more visible to other road users. E-assist also is great to help on hills. Most e-assist bikes are classed as...
I'm sharing that there. I just wanted to show that to you because I feel like the right bike is up there for everyone. If you just picked up the first bike you found and you didn't have a pleasant experience, I personally, when I moved to San Leandro, I found a bike in the backyard buried in some weeds, and I pulled it out, and that was my go-to bike for a couple of years. And it just wasn't my bike. It wasn't. Yeah, there's a lot of options. It wasn't my bike. It was a mountain bike, and I'm not a mountain biker. And I was riding it on city roads, and I was feeling a little tired, and I just never figured out why. And then I realized there's so many different bikes out there, and there's definitely a bike for you. So if you already have a bike, hopefully that intrigued you to see what other bike options are out there. And if you have a bike that you never really fell in love with, it didn't seem like it was a perfect fit, it might not have been. Finding the right bike can totally change your bicycling experience, and having one that doesn't allow you to enjoy yourself will most likely just end up collecting dust. So that's why I want you to take a look at some of the different bikes to see if you might be able to find your love connection. Next slide. Awesome. So being that we have gone over our bike safety, I gave you an opportunity to be able to repair your bikes. I wanted to invite you out to an upcoming ride. There's going to be a ride this weekend on the 28th. It's called the Calavera Community Bike Ride. There's an awesome option. So it's going to be similar to Viva Calle because they will close down the street. There is going to be a 1 mile ride. It's a family-friendly bike ride, ideal for families and beginners, riders of all experience. If you just want to go out there and shake some of the dust off your bike and aren't too confident in your bicycle riding skills, this is a great place to come. There's going to be food and games. There's also a recreational ride. It's a little bit longer, but it's supposed to be flat terrain, so it should still be a little comfortable. I believe anything under 6 miles is pretty enjoyable. After that, 6.1, you start to feel it. Like I am riding a bike. But if you can try to put your rides within a 6 mile range, I feel like you'll really enjoy it. So I wanted to invite you to that. It's going to be on the 28th, and they'll also be doing some safety checks for bikes. So you can bring your bike there as well. And they'll even be doing helmet fittings. All right, next slide. All right, so here also are a variety of rides that we have provided by SVDC. You can also find them on our website. All these rides loop, so we won't have you stranded at an endpoint. Make sure that if you click on the link that I've already sent to Sophie, you'll be able to start in the same place. These are rides that we've done with some of our partners like Google and Facebook and City of San Jose, San Jose State, also with Viva Calle. So you'll get a chance to experience some of these pre-tested rides. You should really enjoy yourself. They're designed just to be enjoyable, slow pace, with great scenery. Next slide. Oh, and also, sorry, upcoming rides down there for November and December. All right. Some rides a little closer would be our upcoming annual fundraiser. If you are an avid bicyclist, we have some riding for you. There is I believe it's a 50-mile ride, 51-mile ride. Yeah. This is our annual fundraiser. So if you're not ready for a 50-mile ride, don't worry. We have the 6 and the 12 there as well. You can start off with the 6 and maybe make your goal 50 in a couple of years. We will also be having free bike repairs there, contests, music, food. It is open to the public, and the streets once again will be cut off. So nice, safe environment. And I believe we'll be doing a little bit of trail riding too. So you'll get a little bit of street riding, but then also some enjoyable trail riding. I mentioned to you the upcoming Calavera Community Bike Ride. That is in Gilroy. I want to make sure I had something for folks all around the county. And once again, the free bike repair in the city of Sunnyvale. We also have a Bike to the Future family bike ride. So we're doing the bike ride, but we're also doing a safe bike safety workshop prior to that. So people bring their kids. We want to make sure that their kids are comfortable, give them some training, get the family ready for this family bike ride that they're getting ready to do. We try to think of it all. We love to have the whole family out, but we want to make sure that we're safe and also in doing so. With that, let's go to the next slide. So I introduced you to some upcoming rides, and I want to introduce you to some fun rides and fun people. We currently have 9 local teams in the city of San Mateo and Santa Clara. I added this map because I'm a urban planner. I like maps, but we'll go to the next slide and you can see a little better which cities we're actually located in. And like I said, the local teams are just regular concerned citizens that said, hey, I like to be able to bicycle, but I don't feel safe doing so. I like to be able to have my kids go to school, but I don't feel safe with them right in the road. What can I do? And the great thing about that is you can go fast alone, but you go far with more people. So getting together with a group, especially if you're really passionate about it and you have a lot of energy, we'd like to make sure that you have some support and someone that can help you do some of that planning so you don't get tired out. So your dream actually does come through and you get to see those things actually happen. And we have teams in all these cities. So I'll send out a invitation to join the local team. Feel free to connect. We have a Google group. You just say, hey, I'm new and I'm interested in blah, blah, blah. And someone will be like, me too, me too. Like, what can we do? And that's really how our campaigns start. So we definitely love the community input. Next slide. Awesome. So here's some other ways to get involved with SVBC. You can volunteer. You can volunteer. You can become a member. Get involved with our rides. So we have rides planned for the year, but we are open to rides. Our mural ride was something that was community input. The Pokemon Go ride was community input. We also have a boba ride where we just go and get boba. There were some community members that were like, I like to see how possible it is for me to go and bike to get my groceries. So we went as a group grocery shopping, and we had to do some advocating to have bike racks before we did that. So all the different steps. But getting you on your bike and out in these environments, it's what we hope will lead to your advocacy. If we encourage you to go to these places, we also have to be responsible to ensure that the environment around us is safe enough to do so. So it's two parts. We want you to get out there, and we hope that when you do, you'll also consider, like, I had fun going to that place, but there was that one street, right? That one street, and that's when we hope you'll take some interest in becoming an advocate and being part of our local teams, because we do awesome work. If you're in the city of Sunnyvale, and you may be familiar with Homestead Road, there currently was a bike study, or a bike lane study to see if it would be something that would be possible. And through advocacy, they will be having a bike lane on Homestead, which is really great because there's lots of schools there. And there was concern from students and parents as well, to make sure that there was a safe route. We have Bike to the Future coming up. You can pledge to ride. We'll have energizer stations. I mentioned that earlier. But what's most important is our bike advocacy and staying attentive to the city process. I can't emphasize this enough. There are so many good city-sponsored events and meetings to get input from on relevant plans and projects in the community, and they need to hear your feedback. Sometimes I let folks know there's really is poor community attendance. And I was like, and if you go, you get to be the subject matter expert. You might get all the time to speak, right? And you really make an impact. So definitely attend council meetings, attend BPAC, which are bicycle pedestrian advisory community meetings. Be as active as you can and build those relationships. Next slide. All right. The wrap up. And this is the chance where you can, if you weren't able to type into the chat, you can let me know what's one thing you learned and what's one thing that you'll commit to doing next month. I like to always put an ask out there and get you all thinking about what you can do. We used to do get folks to try to take a pledge where they would do 10% of their trips by bike, which is just 1 out of 10. And just like look at your smallest trip and make that your trip. So that's just an idea. Anyone have anything that they like to comment in regards to what they learned or what they'll commit to doing next month?
I like the idea of the options for so many different bike rides, but my problem is my tush gives out after the first 5 miles. So I see all these neat ones for 19 miles and 25 miles, and that you take breaks. But once my tush gives out, I don't want to get back on the bike for quite a while.
Yeah. Join us then for the Calaveras ride. Like I said, there's a 1 mile option and a 5.6. Hopefully we can keep you around for the 0.6.
Yeah.
All right.
Diane? I've owned like 5 or 6 bikes because I have to go through different ones because of different, like you were saying, that didn't fit my style. But every single one of them, I replaced the seat. The seat that came with the bike just didn't fit my tush,
Tush comfort is very important. That's one of the major complaints. First thing I look at. Anyone have anything they want to commit to for the next one? No pressure.
I need to get my bike fixed. I can see that. Yeah, it's not getting used because it's not usable. So yeah, be nice to get back out there, but I need to make sure it feels safe and is well adjusted for. I'm a little bit on the short side, so it's I appreciated what you said about the leaning, like mounting by leaning the bike a little bit. Yeah. It's not like when I was a kid.
I love that when I saw that. I said, oh, okay, because sometimes my balance is not that great. So I was like, that's a workaround. It's a
Yeah,
workaround, something like that.
definitely. So,
Right.
I'm
Hey,
an
Diane,
advocate for
I
the
wanted
e-bike.
to share something because Kenneth actually sent this to me as a direct message, so you wouldn't see it though. He's saying, this is from Kenneth Davis. Thanks. Good starting point information.
Awesome, amazing, amazing. And I hope you're encouraged to join us on one of the upcoming rides. If there's something that you'd like to propose, be interested. So many great ideas we've had for rides that come from the community, going places that we may not go, that someone else would be interested in. I think someone wanted to do a historical buildings tour. I was like, oh, the planner and me love that, right? And then a garden tour, and then is it a tea tour, a woman's tea tour? I'm like, yeah, all those things. I love it. Like there's no end to what you can do on a bike, and there's the opportunity to just engage in conversation. You're side by side. You can have conversation with, that you can't have being in your cage, in your car.
Well, I'm an advocate for the e-bikes. I have one myself. I put the money out there, and I'm so glad I did because my stamina and so forth, is diminishing over the years. And just getting that extra boost, like you said, for inclines in the recording there, it really helps going even in small areas that you don't think it's that hilly. It can take your energy away faster than you want. And this just lets me get farther and farther on each trip I take on the bike.
Yeah, it your bicycling experience should be enjoyable by all means. Take whatever adjustments if you need a new seat, if you need a e-bike, a recumbent, whatever it takes to make it enjoyable so that you can get out there and get that exercise and see the world.
We actually had an earlier comment. Let me back up here from Margot. I recently took a nature tour in San Jose and was wondering if you work with the trail societies on paths made for both walking and bikes.
Yes, we do. We work with the conservation team. We work with Guadalupe Park Conservatory, Parks and Rec, Valley Water. We just had a cleanup with was it Parks and Rec? No, with trails 2 months ago. We do that regularly. We believe if we want to use the trails and enjoy them, sometimes there's complaint like it's not plain. Okay, well we can fix that. We'll take a bike ride out there anyhow, right? And bring a bag, bring a little pickup, and clean those up. Yes, we are currently working with the trails in anticipation of the next couple months, where we're going to get that change in weather to make sure that we have good announcements and information when there'll be trail closures or if there'll be a trail that just isn't safe. Yeah.
any other questions, Diane?
Just scrolling back to make sure I didn't miss any. Yeah, Kenneth's been giving me direct messages. He had, so I answered to everyone. He says, yeah, you can go through 5 or 6 seats before finding the best one. And that all boiled down to because of my riding style changed. When I was commuting, when I had to go on Foothill Expressway towards Stanford, I mean, I wanted to go fast. And then until I hit one of those ledges and fell over, so that wasn't fun. So I said I needed thicker tires. And I went too far away to mountain biking. That was really, and I share what you were feeling about. I get really tired on a mountain bike, but boy, did I have leverage. I wasn't going to fall, but it took a lot more energy. And now I'm on a hybrid.
Yeah, the right bike will change your whole experience. So bikes have gears also, and you have a bike with just one gear, you don't have really a lot of options. So if you face different type of terrains, you can't help the bike adjust to that terrain. You're just stuck, and the bike doesn't know that you're going up a hill or not. So it's not preparing you, it's not assisting you with that. So knowing how to get the bike with the proper amount of gears for your actual living experience will make all the difference. The right match will change everything.
So we are coming to the end of our time, but I do want to ask you a couple of questions, Diana. Why is it so important, in your opinion, for people to connect with the outdoors? What makes bicycling a little different or special to you?
Well, the out well, I was thinking about it's strange. I was thinking about what a story I heard about someone in the hospital. Someone in the hospital, and they're just talking about how your health and your ability to heal better changes if you just have access to a window. Like if you can see outside, you can have a quicker recovery than someone who's just got four walls, right? So it has to being outside has such a huge impact on your health, and in addition to that, it gives you opportunity to meet folks. I'm really big on community. And I feel like I've met so many people on a bike because someone will pull right next to you, and it's not awkward to say hi, right? It's really weird to say hi in a car. These guys on a bike, they'll say hi to you, and they're like, "I like your helmet." You can have conversations, you meet people, and you're not really going that fast. You can actually, pedal to pedal with them for a couple lights, and you might end up with a carpool buddy, a bike pool buddy, right? But I really like nature myself, and the opportunity to just take my time and just enjoy everything that I'm seeing. One of our partnerships I said earlier was with Viva Calle, and one of the locations that they've been in repeatedly, if you're familiar with it, is Japantown. And Japantown loves Viva Calle because it actually gets people out of their car and closer to their businesses. I always say you don't have a customer until you get them out of their car. So if you have them on the bike, you're even closer because they're on the sidewalk, or they're at least right next to the sidewalk. And people get tired when they're bicycling. You're burning a lot of energy, so you're likely to stop and eat. A lot of folks that go on Viva Calle, they said, "I've never been in this part of town before. I never thought to come here, but when I rode through, I saw a restaurant. I didn't stop then, but I definitely said I want to come back and I want to eat there." So it's good for the economy. You're actually in a place where you can engage more and not so focused on what's happening right in that little square of the car. You're outside already, like you're outside.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being our guest today. Um, this has been an amazing and informative talk. I can't wait to do the mural ride. That's going to be super fun, I think. So, for those of you who are following our Let's Take It Outside series, I did want to share with you, coming up in December, we will be meeting with some folks from Niantic, the folks that bring you Pokemon Go. So we'll hear more about this kind of global phenomena. And Diana, that's another one. You mentioned a Pokemon Go ride. That is going to be fascinating to bring the two together. So we look forward to that one. And with that, this concludes today's program.